and nothing happens at all. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Hey there, I'm Jer. Welcome back to the C4 Restoration Diary series. Today, I'm going to start by replacing my radio. The one that I have in here right now is just driving me crazy. It's supposed to be a stock radio, but when it came in, the finish was just a little too glossy for me. The other thing I don't like about it is it's broken. One of the channels in the rear is not working. I'm sure that's something that can be fixed. It's probably a capacitor or something like that, but I don't want to deal with it because the faceplate's driving me crazy. I also want to upgrade the radio in two different ways. I want to get one of the 5-band equalizer radios, just like the one I have in my Fiero. So I actually bought one from a guy on Facebook, and what he does is modifies them and adds a Bluetooth module inside of it somehow. I don't know how he does it, but that's the way it's supposed to work. Here it is in all of its glory. So this looks fantastic. If it has white lights, it's going to be fantastic. And theoretically, he's gone through and made sure everything like the cassette player works as well. So it's a 5-band. The finish is a semi-gloss or maybe like a flat gloss black finish, so it looks like it's gonna match a lot better inside of the car. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of me installing the radio, but it's exactly the same as the last radio because I already did all the work to make sure all the factory connections are reinstalled in the car. So if you want to double check that process of how to install the radio, you can find a link over here. And then there's a couple other things that I still don't like about it that fall into the appearance category. One of the other things that the guy that I bought it from did to upgrade it is he put in LED lights. So what happens with LED lights is the color temperature at least is okay. Usually with LED lights, the color temperature is way too cool, so it's just like a bright, terrible white light. That's not too bad in my car, but the thing is the main thing I don't like about it is the brightness of the bulbs are way too bright. They're way too bright, they're way too white, and they don't dim properly. So when you try to dim the radio at night with your headlight knob, with the dimmer switch, it doesn't match the rest of the interior, and in fact, it doesn't dim at all, it just turns off, because that's how LED works for most of the time. So at some point, I'm going to have to tear into this radio, get in there, and replace these with incandescent bulbs on the inside, double check the wiring on that Bluetooth thing, and see if the solder connection came loose on it. And also the display on it is not my favorite either. The cars came with green LED displays on everything. I don't even know if these are LEDs. It might be a different technology, vacuum something. I don't know. Whatever the little character thing in there. In this generation of C4, all the readouts should be green because it matches what's on my HVAC. Readout is green. Should have a green one on my radio, but it's blue because it's the 90s GM color. So to fix that issue, I bought a broken C4 radio, and hopefully I can get the display out of that and swap it into my radio. That means I have to desolder it and do a bunch of craziness to the display. So that's coming up way later. So at one point, I'm going to tear back into this 5-band radio and take a look at those 3 issues that I'm having with it, and let you know how that Bluetooth thing is connected in case you want to do that on your own. Well, I got my Bose core in, so this is for parts. So the best thing about it is, I can definitely use these mounting brackets. This is the other spare radio that I used to have in the C4, but the cases are identical to what I have in there now. So this will transfer over. This little thing will transfer over and fit in the skeleton properly, and so will the other mount on the other side. That's great. Awesome. Looking at the display though, I don't know. It looks like that display in there is different than that display, because I can turn my flashlight on and see the LED or the display behind there, whatever it is. And this one looks a little bit different on the inside. So I need to take both of these apart and see what's going on, and go from there. Maybe I won't be able to get the display out of here. I don't know. For now, the radio does work, and it does look a heck of a lot better. So we'll call that partially fixed. Yay! So the other thing that started happening to the C4 in 2021 is my clear started to fail. You'll see it get worse and worse as time goes by. I'm pretty sure that the car cover has been rubbing on it, and that's what caused the clear to fail. I was hoping to at least stop the clear from getting worse by scuffing part of it with a Scotch-Brite pad and then throwing some clear over the top of it. But it's too late now. It's actually started to spread all over the place. It like goes underneath and just starts to spread that clear, and it just flakes off. So to fix that, I have to repaint the entire car, and that's going to be the last thing that I do to it. Everything else needs to be fixed first. So just enjoy watching my clear fall apart in the background of all of these future videos. So here it is, it's getting close to the end of 2021, and usually what happens at the end of the year is it starts getting cold here in the Northern Hemisphere. And one of the things that I want to fix on my C4 is the rear defroster, and this thing needs to work. That rear window is gigantic, and I can't see anything out of it in the winter. Back it up is kind of a nightmare. It's pretty terrifying. I think it's just a bad connector that's going from the strut connection to the rear window defroster grid. Hopefully it's just some connection issues and my defroster grid will be good as new. I still need to get the rear defroster fixed. I have some tabs on the way. Looks like OEM on this thing. It's just soldered directly underneath here. So I bought some tabs off of newer cars and hopefully solder the tabs to this thing, and hopefully that will give me a better connection and maybe it'll start working. I don't know. But right now my rear defroster is not working. That's my biggest problem with the winter. So I installed the pigtail that I made. That didn't fix my issue. And so I wasn't even going to try to do the clips because that pigtail thing should have worked. So that means I need to start troubleshooting the rear defroster grid. So I have to bust out the DMM or the digital multimeter for that. Well, here I am. It's December. I would like to be able to use my car in the winter more often, and I'm having a terrible problem with the defroster. And I just did some ohm checks again on it because I've tried to repair this before, and I thought I had it working. I know I have power coming to it last time I checked, but the defroster itself is not working. So I soldered a wire onto here. That did not fix the problem. Still not working right. Doing a check again for continuity, and you know, that's good. That's good. And you want to be able to get the other side, and nothing. So there's a little split right here. Let's see if we can get that in the frame. There's a little split in it right here. It's kind of strange how this is set up. It's actually like 3 pieces. It goes from here to there, and then back here to this side. Very strange, but that's the way it works. So there's nothing here on that side and nothing here on that side. So it will never work. Even if I try to hot wire it and just connected it from the front to the back, I could at least get half of it working. There's nothing I can do for that. So I checked the resistance over here, and you know, nothing happens at all. You know, it'll work a little bit to here. So that means every single one of these traces is damaged and broken. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Okay, well, I gotta figure it out. It's bad. It's way worse than I expected. So I went over and checked how the defroster grid works on my Bravada, which is a newer vehicle in 2000, and my Fiero, which is the same vintage as this car. And you can test along any one of these points on the traces, and you get continuity. I do not. That's not good. So yeah, you're supposed to be able to get a beep there. I don't know if you can hear it. I got my Fiero warming up now because it's that monthly time. And in between any of these traces, I get absolutely nothing. There's also residual goo along the whole border of the window. And what I think happened is someone did a really terrible job trying to tint this, and then all the tint fell out. And when the tint came out, it also pulled off the whole defroster grid. So this is just the residual glue that is left over from gluing the metal strips on. So I have like no metal strips in here. So that is my main problem. So that I cannot fix by simply soldering something. I am going to have to figure out how I'm going to do this. Because I know you can repair parts of it, but redoing it all, I don't know. Wonderful. So that's disappointing. That is not going to work. So no defroster for me anytime soon. Ugh, that's no good. So this is what I think happened. So I'm pretty sure at some point in the life of the car, that rear window was tinted, and that tint is held on by a very sticky glue. At some point, the tint failed. You know, they get bubbles in them or they start peeling and coming them off. It was probably a home installation is why that was happening. And so for whatever reason, it started to fail, and the person that had the car before me just ripped out all of the old tint. When they did that, it also ripped out the entire defroster grid. It literally, I bet the pieces of metal were stuck to all of the plastic film that came out of the car that used to be on the tint. So once again, all I could say is, thanks, Tom. That guy. So many hack things on this car. Unbelievable. So this can be fixed in one of two ways. One is just an outright replacement. I can either order new or used a whole rear hatch. That is not impossible to do, but the shipping is gonna kill me. It's probably gonna be $500-600 just to ship it, and it might even cost more than that for the window. So that is a solution, but I don't know if I'm gonna go with that solution. Another possibility is to actually repair it. Ish. So you can replace the entire defroster grid with a new one. There is a company out there that sells these defroster grids. It's a lot of work to install it. You have to manually re-glue it on yourself, and the wire's a little thicker, so it doesn't really look as good. But I think for under $200, I can get most of the defroster to work again, at least good enough so I can see out of the back of the car in the winter. So either way, this is something that I'm gonna have to solve at a future date. Ugh. See how much money you save by buying a cheap car? Well, that's everything that I wanted to show you in this episode. I don't feel like I got a lot of good stuff accomplished, but, you know, there is some progress being moved forward with the car. Coming up in future episodes, my battery starts to die and I have to deal with that. I'm tired of my beverages falling out of the cup holders, so I finally buy one of those cup holder linings, and I'll let you know if they actually work or not. And my door lock got completely frozen and stuck on the passenger side. I had to use some creative engineering to get that fixed. So if you want to know when those videos get dropped, just go ahead and subscribe and YouTube will let you know. If you have any feedback or concerns or questions for me, just go ahead and leave those in the comments section below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the C4 adventure thus far. Have a fantastic day and happy C4ing.